Alrighty then, so this is our last lesson of our review of the basics of Algebra 1, solving linear equations, part 2. Our objectives from this lesson is we're going to once again write and graph the equation of a line, and we're going to graph the equation of a line using the intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Same vocabulary as last video. If you didn't get a chance to get it down then, here's your chance. Here's your chance again to do it. So pause the video, write down the vocabulary, familiarize yourself with it because I'll be using these terms throughout, and restart the video when you're ready. This is the last of the vocabulary. In the last video we mainly dealt with slope-intercept form, but we will be using point-slope and standard form. In this one we'll be using all three. So pause the video, get this information down, and when you're ready, restart the video. Once again, here's the slope formula. Second chance to get that information down, and if you already have it, you might try writing it again. The more times you write things down, the more that sticks in your mind. So pause the video if you need to and restart when you are done. Final piece of information, slope-intercept form, your blueprint for creating a graph. Remember, M, the number attached with the x, is your slope. B, the number without an x attached to it, that's your y-intercept. So pause the video if you need to and write this information down. Restart when you're ready. Alright, so our first example is we're going to write the equation of a line that passes through the following 2 points, negative 10, 3, and negative 2, negative 5. So the first thing we have to do to find the equation of a line through 2 points is we have to find the slope. So we're going to use the slope formula. So as usual, I'm going to, if you still need to, I'm going to label my x-coordinates x1 and x2, and my y-coordinates y1 and y2. So to find my slope, I just plug everything in my slope formula, and I'm going to take my y2 and I'm going to subtract from it my y1, and I'm going to take my x2, which is negative 2, and I'm going to subtract from it my x1, which is negative 10. And remember, negative times negative makes it a plus. So that's a big O plus. So we end up with negative 5. I'm at negative 5 on the number line, and I go 3 more in the negative direction, and that puts me at negative 8. And I'm at negative 2 on the number line, and I'm going to go 10 in the positive direction, so that puts me at positive 8. And 8 over 8 reduces down to 1. And negative over positive is negative, so my slope is negative 1. Alright, so I have a slope of negative 1, and what I'm going to do with that slope is I'm going to take that slope and my first order pair, my x1 and my y1, and I'm going to plug it into my point slope formula. So all I'm substituting in is my x1, my y1, and my slope. So I go with y minus my y1 is 3, and it is equal to my slope from my previous page is negative 1, and then I keep my x, and I'm going to subtract from that my x-intercept, which is negative 10. And remember, negative and negative makes it a big O positive. So my equation in point slope form, is y minus 3 equals negative 1 times x plus 10. Take that equation, put it in slope-intercept form. So here's my equation in point slope form. First thing I got to do is get rid of my parentheses. So I'm going to distribute my negative 1. So I have y minus 3 equals, and I distribute my negative 1 to x, so I have negative x, or negative 1x if you prefer, and then I distribute the negative 1 to 10, which gives me negative 10. Now, if you will remember, my slope-intercept form, and I need that to graph, is my y equals mx plus b. y has to be by itself. So I need this y by itself. So just like I do with a one-step equation, to get rid of and isolate that y, to get rid of everything with it, I've got to undo all the operations on the side with the y. So I have to add 3 to each side. Alright, when that happens, my 3's cancel out, and I'm left with y equals, and I am going to bring down my negative x, because I only have one x term over there, and I cannot add the 3 to it. So what I need to do is I need to add the 3 to the negative 10. They're the like terms, the plain old numbers, so I put them together. So it is minus 7. So there is my equation in slope-intercept form. Alright, so now I'm going to take my slope-intercept form and graph it. And the reason I put it in slope-intercept form is my blueprint to creating a graph. Alright, remember, y-intercept. The one number without the x attached to it is my y-intercept. That is on my y-axis, so it's negative 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is negative 7. After I use my y-intercept, I'm going to use my slope. And my slope is negative 1. If I want to make it a fraction, since it's a whole number, I put it over 1. That gives me my rise over my run. So to do my slope, I fall down 1 and I go over 1. So there's my point. And also on the other side, I can go up 1 over 1. And if I draw this correctly, which I probably won't, it should go through every little corner through there. So this is the equation of my line, y equals negative x, negative minus 7. Alright, so here I got a question for you. Does it matter which ordered pair you use when you use the point slope formula? So what I want you to do is I want you to test that second ordered pair and plug it into the point slope formula, and then take your equation and put it in slope intercept form and see what happens. So pause the video now and do that, and we'll discuss it tomorrow. Once you finish that, you've got that in slope intercept form, restart the video, and we'll go on. Alright, here we go. Last two definitions, I promise. And this has to do with the intercepts. We have an x-intercept and the y-intercept. Here's the information below. X-intercept is basically where that line crosses the x-axis, and y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-intercept. Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So pause the video, write this information down, and when you're ready, go on and restart the video. Alright, so here's our example with finding the x and y intercepts. And normally you're going to find the x and y intercepts when it is in standard form, when the x term and the y term are on the same side of the equal sign. And let's see, some few other requirements. You always put the x term first. It has to be positive, and it has to be a whole number. Alright, so I am going to do it by using the x and y intercepts. So first of all, I'm going to start out with finding the x-intercept. To find the x-intercept, if you remember from those definitions, if it's an x-intercept, the y-coordinate has to be 0. So what that means is I'm just going to set y equal to 0. So if I set y equal to 0, what happens is this term with y goes away, and I'm just left with an x. So, and one-step equation. So my x-intercept is 5. So that means, and I can go ahead and plot that point, I can plot 1, 2, 3, 4. X equals 5 on the x-axis. Alright, so now, let's see if I have enough room here. I'm going to get the y-intercept. If you'll remember from that definition on the previous page, y-intercept on the ordered pair x is equal to 0. So to find the y-intercept, I set x equal to 0. So I get 3 times 0 plus 5y equals 15. And basically my x term drops out, and I'm left with oops, let me get this to right, 5y equals 15. One-step equation to solve. Undo my multiplication. Remember when you got a number attached to a variable, it's multiplication. I undo it with the opposite, which is division. So my y-intercept is 3. So now I'm going to go to the y-axis, and I am going to plot my y-intercept, which is 3, on the y-axis. And then, once I connect my 2 points, I have my line. I actually prefer graphing by the x and y intercepts, so I just love it when you see a problem in standard form. It makes things a whole lot easier. Alright, so here's one for you to practice and try. What I want you to do is, you're going to try this one. You're going to pause the video now. You're going to try this problem on your own. And once you think you've got your answer, restart the video and check your answer with mine. Alright, did you get the same answer as I did? If you didn't, check your work at mine and we'll go retry the problem. And if you still are having trouble, we'll talk it over tomorrow.